Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hey there. Hey.
We accidentally skipped a week, but we're back. Skipped a week so
vacation.
much.
It was
yeah.
vacation. It was just vacation.
Yeah, we skipped a week so much that I even forgot to post on all of our social media that we wouldn't have an episode last week. So
I don't think anyone noticed.
I don't know. Maybe you guys did. Probably not, though.
No, I'm going to lean.
Hard no,
probably. My mom was like, typical.
Yeah, I'm just going to blame the executive producer like I always do.
Didn't I, like, get sick again? I did.
Yeah.
I did get sick.
Yeah. It's been, just back to back since, I don't know.
It's like the Bulls.
October.
It's like the Bulls. like repeat the three-peat.
Yeah. There you go. But we're back this week, and we're finally doing an episode that we have talked about for a long time, because I think a lot of the light has been shed where it should have been shed. We shedded the light.
Should shed.
We're doing a George Santos episode finally.
And that's the tea.
Yeah, we're going to be properly boosted for it. So looking forward to it. But before we get into it, couple of housekeeping, as we always do. The first is we're on all your favorite social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. If anyone is good with like a YouTube algorithm, let me know. Because something happened. There's like a very specific day, and I think I've talked about this before, but there's a very specific day like last year where it was like all of a sudden we were just not getting views anymore. We were consistently getting views. Like,
oh, I was gonna say like it's just us.
No, I don't think it is, because it's like there's just like a complete drop down. So I don't know if it was like something in the algorithm, if it was something like I don't know, maybe we got like a ding for content or something. Who knows?
Too many swear words. No,
it's just they don't want you to know everything that we're telling you. Just kidding. It's not like we're coming up with new ideas.
No, that's not us.
Anyways, and if you like the pod and you want to support us, the best way that you could do that is by leaving us a review, telling us about the YouTube algorithm, or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. And if you do any of that and you take a screenshot and you send it to us, you'll get some Boozed and Confused stickers in the mail for free.
A whole bunch.
A whole box. Whole box.
Maybe some cat poop.
There's not going to be any cat poop, also because shipping is just too expensive and it's heavy. So
yeah. It probably like wouldn't even get to them, because maybe that sketchy USPS guy would be like, "Oh, this feels like a little heavy." Jackpot.
Yeah,
it's
and then
cat
they feel
poop.
it out. Yeah, and then
nice.
It's just cat shit. So that's nice. Yeah, and the last one is what are you drinking? Wow. Oh my God, Jinx. Oh no. Now neither of us can do the pod. We're both drinking Voodoo Ranger. Which one is yours?
It's the Imperial IPA, which I got this for the opposite reason that you got yours.
You got it because it was the heaviest.
Which is also how I order my beers at restaurants and the bar.
Naturally.
Is I just look for the heaviest. But then I know
you just get more for your money that way.
But then I go like, I don't want a barley wine. I don't want like this like, as you call it, like motor oil soy sauce.
Yeah, it's too much.
Find like the middle ground.
Yeah. This is a good middle ground.
A nice juicy IPA.
I'm also drinking a Voodoo Ranger, but it's just IPA, so nothing super fancy, but it's 7% ABV. So
yeah, when I was grabbing these beers from the fridge, you were saying just get the lightest one.
Well, because we polished off a bottle of wine last night, and then we both took naps. So
well, I'm happy to say that one of our glasses, when I was emptying things this morning, still had a little bit in there. It had just a little bit.
Probably me.
Are you sure?
Probably.
I don't tend to leave a wounded soldier behind.
Yeah.
I tend to finish them off, and yours. But
yeah, of course.
we turned on the lovely Apple TV app and watched some MLS, and I fell asleep right away.
Immediately. All right, so I think we're just gonna get right into it. Let's finally do this. Hopefully,
George Santos.
Yeah, hopefully things are calming down a little bit. The source for today's episode is going to be newyorkmag.com. It'll be the only source in the show notes, but it was updated as of like 2 days ago, so I'm hoping that it's the most up-to-date thing that we do have, unless anything has happened in the last 2 days. Who knows? But let's talk about George Santos and who he is to begin with, or what we do know to be for sure.
Now, this is just top of the dome. He is a representative.
Yes, that is correct.
Of New York, and he's possibly like my age, if not maybe a year younger.
Yeah, no, I think he's a year older. So,
but it's just one of those things where it's like I gauge my age on stuff. Like, well, I'm like a year and a half, not even, away from being able to run for president.
Yeah, big ambitions over here.
I can be a politician.
Yeah.
And that upsets me.
I mean, you could be a politician right now. There's no...
But who wants to be?
Yeah,
I'll tell you who.
Not me.
George Santos.
George Santos does.
That's even his real name.
For reasons unknown. So, George Anthony DeVolder Santos runs, I guess, the 3rd Congressional District in New York. He is a representative. He was elected in 2022, obviously came up in 2023, and had some previous unsuccessful runs, especially in 2020. But don't worry, Ma. He made it.
This guy's name has popped up from nowhere for me. I mean, minus like the last couple of months where it's like, who the crap is this guy?
Yeah. We're gonna go through just like the entire timeline of George Santos' lies. And maybe by the end of this, we'll figure out together who he actually is.
I was going to ask if you're going to do his actual timeline, because that might spoil all the fun lies that have come around the DeSantis. Not DeSantis.
Well, maybe DeSantis.
Oops.
I don't know, a little Freudian slip there.
It's when you say one thing, but mean your mother. That is not a funny joke. That is like...
That's funny. All right. So the first major lie, I guess, starting as far back as we can, is that George Santos, whose parents emigrated from Brazil, he said that he attended the Horace Mann School in the Bronx during his first years of high school, but then had to leave the private academy in his senior year because his parents fell on hard times. And then he went on to say that it was because of the Depression of 2008. But what's funny about this is that there's no evidence that he went to this high school at all. At all.
What's so great about this high school?
It's a very prestigious private academy in the area.
The Bronx. Yeah. Right. So early starts.
Yeah.
Prestigious academy. Best of the brightest.
Mm-hmm. And then he went on and got a high school equivalency diploma.
Oh, what, a GED?
So, yeah.
A GED. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for him for fighting it out and being silver spoon.
You know who else got a GED?
Marjorie? No. Boebert.
Yeah. Lauren Boebert. And she failed 3 times before she eventually passed.
She also has a pretty long rap sheet.
Yeah.
Doesn't she?
Not sending their best.
I'm waiting for a Boebert Taylor Greene ticket.
Oh, I think she's one of the only crazies in Congress that's fully accepted him. Yeah, because a lot of Republicans don't want to touch this guy with a 10-foot pole.
And that's saying something.
And that's saying a lot.
That's saying something.
Yeah,
because some of those.
Yeah, the only reason that they're keeping him in at the moment is because there's such a slim majority for Republicans in the House. That they just want to keep him in and keep him quiet. Pretty much. Yeah. For now, as much as they can.
No boards, no teams, just you're here.
Yeah.
You vote present.
So he also claims that he graduated with a degree in economics and finance from Baruch College in 2010, which is interesting timing because it would suggest that he made it through a 4-year degree program in just 2 years.
I was just going to say, I'm not the best to ask about this, but 2008 to 2010.
Yeah, that's 2 years.
That is an accelerated program.
But then a representative from the college was like, George Santos who? So there's no record of him being in the class of 2010. He also claimed that he was a star on their volleyball team. There's no record of that either.
What? With that build?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most unrealistic part of all of this. Is that man a volleyball player? No. Mm-mm.
Of all the sports he picks.
Yeah. And then there was a biography done of George Santos that stated that he spent time at NYU, which is another prestigious university. And NYU was like, George Santos who? And then he later told the New York Post that he didn't actually graduate from any institution of higher learning.
So no college degree.
No.
So why was he saying he did?
I don't know, to make shit up. This dude has a problem.
This is like that kid in grade school who's like, I have a girlfriend.
She goes to another school.
She's super hot. She goes to a different school.
Yeah.
You've never heard of her.
Yeah. No, this dude has a serious problem. And I think he has a hard time keeping his own lies straight, which is evidenced by all of his different lies. So his campaign bio stated that he worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. Representatives for both companies said they have zero record of his employment.
Those are also like somewhat prestigious bougie jobs, right?
Yeah.
It's Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, exactly. And so he said that he worked in Citi's real estate wing in the 2010s, but Citi sold off its asset management operations when he was in like high school. So obviously did not work there. And then after he was sworn into Congress, the Times obtained a copy of his resume that said he graduated in the top 1% of his class at Baruch, earned an MBA at NYU, and then was able to double the revenue on a project that he worked on at Goldman Sachs. And in the article that I'm reading off of for today's episode, there's a link to his resume that you could read. Another big red flag, I'll just say, is that his resume is 2 fucking pages long. Oh. And honestly, unless you're like a well-published individual, you've written novel on novel and you've been published in how many journals, you have no business having 2-page resume. I don't fucking care who you are. Yeah.
This is opening up some wounds here. Yeah.
That's fine.
Showing you my resume.
Yeah.
And you're like, hold on, listen up. This is what's going to happen here. No one's going to hire you.
I mean, it's just, no one has time to read that. So anyway, so he said like, oh yeah, I worked at Goldman Sachs, and he didn't just give that lie once. He kept that up for years. So there were court records that he spoke at a 2017 trial in Seattle on behalf of a family friend accused of skimming credit card numbers from ATM machines. ATM machines is written in the notes, not me.
Yeah,
just say ATM.
Just cringed there.
So, quote, "So what do you do for work?" the judge asked. Quote, "I am an aspiring politician and I work for Goldman Sachs," Santos replied. Quote, "You work for Goldman Sachs in New York?" the judge asked. "Yep," Santos said.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had mentioned at the top of the pod that Santos first ran for Congress in 2020. He filed a disclosure showing that his salary was $55,000. And he worked as a VP at a business development company called Linkbridge Investors. He said that he introduced investors to hedge fund managers and said that he once brought in like $1 million in revenue in just 6 months on the job. Okay. So,
it's just like the amount of lies. Are just and it's not like
small stuff either.
It's just like huge stuff. Yeah, this is like massive. These are massive lies.
So the company's founder testified under oath in a 2019 lawsuit that Santos was just a freelancer who sold sponsorships for events and worked on commission. So then after he had that failed congressional run in 2020, he started working at a Florida investment firm called Harbor City Capital. And when he was employed there in 2020, he said that he managed a $1.5 billion fund and bragged of record returns of 12 to 26%, depending on the type of investment. That's a lot.
Is it a lot? These are just numbers to me.
But what is funny is that, according to CNN, a customer told Santos that the company's promise that they had a full bank guarantee on investments was bogus. Deutsche Bank? Deutsche?
That sounds good.
That's not right.
Dogecoin. Yeah.
Claims it is a complete fraud and not signed by the bank officer on the document, and Santos replied that they were 100% legitimate. And then in April of 2021, the Securities and Exchange Commission accused Harbor City of being a Ponzi scheme that stole $17 million from investors.
But that's legitimate, though. Ponzi scheme. It's
yeah, totally.
It's legal. It's legal business. It's free real estate.
So the company's assets are in mediation, I think, as we speak. And so Santos himself from that wasn't accused of like any wrongdoing by authorities. But here's where things get like a little like, what the fuck?
It's not already.
No, it's not.
We wouldn't call it that.
This is the part that worries me, I think, the most. So in the month after, he incorporated his own company called Devolder. Okay. He said that he helped rich people buy expensive toys that they wanted. So if a client wanted like to sell a boat or a plane, he would go look out within his Rolodex and be like, are you looking for a plane? Are you looking for a boat? And then would just make the connection. So that's how he claimed he made his money. And within 6 months, he claims to have landed a couple $1 million contracts. All right. You ready for this? Remember his 2020 run, he disclosed a $55,000 salary. Okay.
Yes.
Which we don't even know how true that is. Financial disclosures from his 2022 congressional campaign show he claimed to have made between $3.5 million and $11 million from the company before it was dissolved last year.
Wow, how successful. How successful.
There's just no way. There's no way. And that to me screams like you are probably receiving foreign investment. I'm going to be honest. There's just no fucking way.
There is a way.
There's no way.
The Rolodex.
In my opinion, George Santos is a plant. I think he's a foreign plant.
We don't plant those in gardens because those are invasive.
They are invasive. Yeah. And they kill everything from the roots.
He's a plant?
That's my opinion. I mean,
why else? He's a succulent.
No.
Look at those hips. He's a succulent. He's a succulent.
No, he's like a fucking... what is it that's like taking over Lake Michigan right now? The Asian carp?
Are they?
Oh my God, yeah. They're like a hugely invasive species.
But those are
or
fish.
Like lionfish in the ocean.
A plant.
He's, in my opinion, I think he is.
He could take a little sunflower.
No, he's not a sunflower. We save the sunflowers for the people that we like.
Best flower.
Yeah.
Best flower.
And we're not even like halfway through with this shit. My opinion, though, my conspiracy theory is that he's receiving foreign funding to just be a complete fucking idiot within Congress.
Like blatantly.
Yeah.
It's like this is the guy you send in to just test the waters of how incompetent you can be and still get elected into office.
Well, I think Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene were like maybe the first two. If not
even the first. Well,
if not others before that.
Two of the funniest.
Yeah.
But then
I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is very fucking funny anymore. She's calling for like a national divorce, which is basically
a secession.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Biden had his address of the nation and she like dressed up as the
Chinese spy
balloon and then just like heckled and booed?
Liar. Yeah. Yeah, no, she's awful. I'm not a fan. But okay, so obviously we're not buying the bullshit of George Santos earning that kind of money from whatever bullshit company that he made up.
His Rolodex.
Yeah, and no one else is really believing it either. the company that he supposedly founded had no public website, no LinkedIn page, no clients even listed. When you do your campaign financial disclosure, I think you have to include details about who it is that you're actually serving. He once described his company that he supposedly created as his family's firm, and then said it was managing $80 million in assets. And then, at times he'd even go by the name of Anthony DeVolder.
Oh,
okay. Casual.
It's George, a.k.a. Anthony.
Yeah, super casual.
It's
So
a common nickname.
He was asked, because he lent his own campaign $700,000. Okay. And he was asked by a representative, where did that money come from? And, he was asked about the money during an appearance on good old Steve Bannon's War Room. He dodged the question, which is amazing, given that that is his safe space, and he still dodged the question.
Wait, so Bannon's show asked him.
Yeah, where the money came from.
Was that a digging question?
I'm sure it was. Like, I'm telling you, I think a lot of Republicans do not like this guy or don't trust him. The only ones that have him in their inner circle are the ones that are also batshit. So,
this is great. This is great.
Instead of answering the question, he said, "Well, I'll tell you where it didn't come from. It didn't come from China, Ukraine, or Burisma. Burisma, Burisma. Is that a country that I'm not aware of?"
That's a great question.
I'm gonna Google this in real time.
Gonna say it's a person.
It's a holding company for a group of energy exploration and production companies. It is based out of Cyprus. No, it's registered in Cyprus, based in Ukraine. Well, that's not very helpful. It didn't come from China or Ukraine. Great. There's a lot of other places.
Thanks, George. Yeah, Anthony.
Whoever you are. So then earlier this year, because I think once he officially hit Congress, a lot of people were like, what the fuck?
Right. This guy got elected.
Yeah.
This guy got elected.
This is how stupid people are. Fucking God. Okay, so on January 24th, he admitted in a new filing that $500,000 of that sum was not actually a personal loan, but he did not reveal the source of the money. Not sketchy at all. Do you guys have $500,000 just laying around?
Why? Yes, I do.
I mean, Jesus, our net worth combined, we're probably in the negatives because of our mortgage. But after we pay this bad boy off,
everybody in the negative pretty much.
Yeah, credit card debt in the U.S. is an all-time high.
We're good with credit cards.
Yeah, no,
we're fine with credit cards.
No, I'm not saying us. I'm saying Americans in general.
Stupid Americans. No, I'd say our combined wealth is maybe 5 figures.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I don't know.
Let's just $10,000.
Yeah, there you go. So he filed another amended report stating that a $125,000 loan that he gave his campaign was also not a personal loan. Jordan Leibowitz, who's a spokesman for Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics, told the New York Times, quote, "I have never been this confused looking at an FEC filing." Great. So great. He received $25,000 from a group called Redstone Strategies, which never registered with the FEC as a political group. He also had a habit of spending, and this is how I know he knows exactly what he's doing, had a habit of spending $199 or $199.99 US dollars at restaurants and hotels just shy of the threshold for expenses that campaigns are legally required to track. So my man is probably out here staying at Motel 6s to stay under the radar. This man is really out here risking bed bugs so he can keep all of his money. Maybe he's just frugal.
I thought you were saying, he was out at these restaurants. Let me get how much is that steak? Oh, yeah. Let me get the pork chops.
Half
I'll get the pork chops. And no side, please. And just water, no ice.
He probably only orders the specials at restaurants. Which, that's fine.
I'll have the fried shrimp. No lobster for me.
Probably also offers to do some of the dishes after the meal, so they'll tack a little bit off of his bill.
How many hours of work would I have to do for this to be free?
Donations that he received came from people who don't actually exist or claim not to have sent him any money, like a cousin of his who was dumbfounded that they had allegedly given him a $5,800 pledge. Amazing. So not only is all of this very concerning, he also has a history of fraud well before this. So in 2008, when he was like 19, he was living in Brazil. Court records showed he was charged with stealing the checkbook of a man his mother was caring for and wrote $700 in fraudulent checks, including for a pair of shoes.
Oh, good. I mean, at least it was like only a couple $100.
Yeah.
There's a worse person would have run this guy ragged.
Well, two of his former roommates claim he stole a Burberry scarf and then wore it a year later to a Stop the Steal rally.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's my scarf.
Oh,
you saw him on TV, huh?
I just can't believe it. So then he has a made-up history as like being a landlord, saying that he and his family ran a real estate portfolio of 13 properties, and there's absolutely no evidence of the buildings. Nothing was listed on required campaign financial disclosures. And he himself has actually been evicted twice.
Stop.
To make it worse, so in case you're like, wow, George Santos is kind of a piece of shit, here's two fun facts that really show you what kind of character he has. So he claimed that he ran a foundation called Friends of Pets United, and he alleged that they saved 2,500 dogs, and well, I guess that's inclusive of cats as well, between 2013 and 2018, but there's absolutely no record of this ever happening, no record of that organization ever existing, no IRS records, the charity wasn't registered, and there was one fundraiser held with a rescue group in New Jersey in 2017 for which he charged a $50 entry, and the group that threw the event said that it never actually received any of the money that George claimed that he rose for them.
Oh my, what? I'm so confused.
And then he like made up a bunch of excuses as to why he didn't have that money. Okay.
I let my friend borrow it.
Yeah. So then here's the worst of them, in my opinion. He allegedly stole money from a disabled veteran who came to him for help, funding a life-saving surgery for his dog. So in 2016, a man named Richard Osthoff was living in a tent in central New Jersey. He learned that his pit mix would need a $3,000 surgery, which is very expensive.
That's expensive, yeah.
So a vet tech told him that a man named Anthony DeVolder could help him raise the funds. I wish I had an alter ego that was like super fake rich.
It's like Bruce Wayne Batman.
Oh,
I know a guy who can give you the money you need for your dog surgery.
Oh my gosh. So Friends of Pets United put together a GoFundMe that got the money for the surgery, and then Santos refused to give the money to this man whose dog died less than a year later.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
Now. Mm-hmm.
The FBI is currently investigating. George Santos was like, that never happened. And if it happened, the FBI will know about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you haven't even gotten to the fun stuff yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then allegedly in like late 2017, there was a checking account in his name that wrote 9 canceled checks to 8 different accounts owned by dog breeders, writing in the memo section puppy and puppies. So he was charged in Pennsylvania with theft by deception for the alleged crimes.
Come on.
He said that his checkbook was stolen and the charge was expunged in November 2021 after an old friend helped him out.
He wrote like puppy, P-U-P-P-Y-Y-Y-Y-Y, smiley face, puppy.
So with this charity, Friends of Animals United, he would hold adoption events for dogs, pawning the animals for a fee to people who thought they were adopting an animal in need, not a puppy straight from the breeder. So he's writing fake checks to breeders, taking the dogs,
yes,
adopting dogs out, and then taking all that money.
So there's an explanation for this. There's a no.
No.
What hasn't this guy done?
That's a great
What hasn't
question.
this guy done? Because he's done
great question.
Just about everything that I can think of.
Oh my God. I mean, and okay, so here's the other part. We're all listening to what a piece of shit George Santos, Anthony DeVolder is. Okay. He's married at least twice.
What?
That we know of. So he's
to whom?
He's the first openly gay non-incumbent Republican elected to Congress, which is great.
Great for him. Kudos. That's great.
He lives in Long Island with his husband and their 4 dogs, but never appeared on the campaign trail with his partner, which is odd, but understandable.
It's Republicans. Okay.
Yeah.
It's Republicans.
They could not find a marriage record in New York, and he was not wearing a wedding ring when he arrived at the house in January. Okay, so
who's watching these 4 dogs?
I don't know.
I don't care who he's married to. Where are the puppies? Oh.
But my whole thing is, how do you stick by somebody after it comes to light that probably everything you know about them is a lie? Either you're just as shocked as the rest of us are, or you already know and therefore are also a piece of shit. I don't know his husband, so I can't really speak to his character. But I'm curious if he's like, oh, yikes, Anthony.
Anthony George. Whatever.
George Santos did divorce a woman in Queens in 2019. And he said that his first marriage lasted from 2012 to 2019. But here's what's very interesting. In 2014, which is 5 years before they divorced, he sent Facebook invites to friends celebrating an engagement dinner with his boyfriend at the time. And then the former boyfriend said that the party never happened because he didn't say yes to the proposal. So he's already married, proposes to somebody else, gets rejected, does not get engaged while he's already married. I don't know the timeline of his current relationship.
This is some main character shit. This is your first time playing Skyrim, and you just join every faction. You just join. You just say yes to every quest, and you're just like everything at the same time.
Here's one of the first lies that I think really had people being like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Is this what I hope it is?
It's 9/11.
What?
What were you hoping it was?
It's the other fun.
Oh,
that's not fun.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. That one is fun though. I enjoy that one.
This one's not as fun.
No,
this one's not fun. Stupid to lie about. Okay.
I don't know how you can keep all of these lies straight.
You just don't have them straight. That's the thing. You just Again, I think if you're saying that this guy is a Venus flytrap or something, and he's just testing the humans to see how much you can lie and still get elected to office.
Yeah. So in July 2021, he wrote on Twitter that September 11th attacks claimed his mother's life. December 23rd of 2021, he said it was the 5th anniversary of his mother's passing, which was confirmed. That did actually happen. He claimed his mother was in her office in the South Tower on September 11th and that she passed away a few years later when she lost her battle to cancer. Aside from the fact that people rarely refer to 15 years as a few years, there's no record of his mother suffering from the health problems that were caused, obviously, by the toxic debris following the attacks. There's no evidence she was even at the World Trade Center on 9/11. He claimed that she was a finance executive, but her only known employer was a business, an imports business in Queens that folded in 1994. So she also once worked as a nurse in Brazil. Very questionable background, I think.
Okay. So, no, saying like, what is it, like linking her death to 9/11?
Yeah.
As like a sickness acquired from like that horrible debris that fell on people. And okay, that's different than like in my head it's like, oh, she died in 2011.
Oh wait, yeah, no, sorry. So actually neither of those things are true, because here we go. Two genealogists found documents that his mother was in Brazil in September 2001, and in 2003 his mother applied for a visa to enter the US, and she wrote that she had not been in the country since 1999.
Is she dead?
Well, she is now.
Oh.
But
But she was in Brazil.
She was in Brazil during 9/11 and had not been in the country since 1999.
The debris got that... That's not a funny... The debris got that far?
I mean, it could have. You know, I mean, will we ever actually understand the global impact that 9/11 had? Probably not. And on top of his mom not actually having anything to do with 9/11, his grandmother was definitely not a Holocaust victim, like he claimed.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So in May of 2022, he did a podcast. He said his grandparents survived the Holocaust and they fled persecution during World War II. Okay. Quote. For a lot of people who are descendants of World War II refugees or survivors of the Holocaust, a lot of names and paperwork were changed in name of survival. He claimed that he had Ukrainian heritage on his mother's side, which I'm sure was probably some sort of ploy because of everything happening with Ukraine and Russia
conflict,
right now.
Yeah.
But according to genealogy records that were reviewed, it didn't apply to his family. There's no sign of Jewish or Ukrainian heritage. There's no indication of name changes along the way. And multiple family records show that his maternal grandparents were born in Brazil. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So he then delivered remarks on the House floor on January 27th to commemorate Holocaust Memorial Day. Remembrance Day.
Oh
there you go.
My head is spinning about this.
Oh my God. Wait, but then also...
Is this the fun one?
No.
Oh,
this one is very not fun.
Oh.
So following being elected, he said in an interview that he lost 4 employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting in 2016. That is obviously a big fucking tragedy. But the Times found that he lied about yet another tragedy. None of the 49 victims at the Orlando club worked at any of the companies he has named in his biographies. So he just fucking made it up. A true piece of shit. So then on top of that, he's always said that he's a conservative Roman Catholic. His mom posted on Facebook all of her Catholic prayers and talked about the Virgin Mary. And, there's a priest in like Long Island. I feel like if you go to church regularly, the priests probably know you. A priest in Long Island said that he knows the Santos family well. They occasionally attended Catholic Mass. And then George Santos claimed that he was Jewish.
What's it gonna be, George? What's it gonna be?
Oh, yeah. He said, I am Catholic. Because I learned my maternal family had a Jewish background, I said I was Jew-ish.
Like the show, like Blackish.
Oh,
what?
And then he made a Hitler joke on Facebook in 2011.
A what joke?
Yeah. And then a former roommate said that Santos would frequently make anti-Semitic jokes. He'd always say it was okay for him to make those jokes because he was Jewish.
Well, I'm Jewish. It's God.
Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah. What a fucking piece of shit.
Okay, saying one is Jewish, but saying that he is Jewish just sounds so gross.
Okay, so then here's the fun one that we've been waiting for.
This is the one.
So then one thing that's currently happening, like you can see it in Tennessee, they're trying to make it a felony to have drag shows or have children present at drag shows. And like there's just a lot of culture war happening right now, especially against like LGBTQA.
It's like the entire party's.
It's all they've got.
It's all they've got right now is just
especially
culture
at, like,
war. Yeah,
the local election levels, or local county level. So, this one really is like the icing on the cake for holy shit. So Brazilian drag queen Eula Rochard, claimed she was friends with Santos in 2005 when he was also performing as a drag queen in Rio de Janeiro.
There it is. There's the one I've been waiting for all night.
Another friend said Santos aspired to be Miss Gay Rio de Janeiro and that he regularly participated in drag pageants. If you haven't seen the pictures yet, I would be shocked. But you can look at the pictures
everywhere.
Yeah, you can look at the pictures in this article. Yeah.
Make it the cover of the episode. Make it the cover.
I don't know if I want to do
the page.
that.
Just like the one where it's like Santos in drag, and then Santos in I don't know, like political drag.
Yeah,
political drag.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one. I gotta say, there was this video I watched. It was like someone holding their phone up like with a video, but then also was like interviewing.
Oh yeah.
And they go up to George. They go, George, I'm sorry.
Representative
Santos.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard about the RuPaul's Drag Race? So and so's gonna win, and the way he turns around, with that like bitch face.
That's funny.
Like he knows.
Yeah.
But also like, everything. What is this?
Well, also here's something that's funny because he's like apparently such a conservative. So in Brazil, he has friends that are there obviously still. One of his friends said Santos was a supporter of leftist politician Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who was just elected president of Brazil. A leftist politician.
Oh,
very progressive.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like taking back the rainforest, which is great.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Amazing.
It's not, it's just some commodity.
Yeah. There's a Wikipedia bio for a user named Anthony DeVolder that claimed that after a successful drag career, he landed roles on Disney Channel shows like Hannah Montana and Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Then also said he hit the big screen with a role in a movie called The Invasion, starring Uma Thurman. I saw that movie. It was great. Except Uma Thurman never appeared in a movie under that name.
This is like the girlfriend of a friend I knew who was like, oh, I'm going to be in a couple of these movies. Look out for me.
Extra number 4.
And they're just like the extra, and their scene gets cut.
My God.
But they were in the movie though. And you know what? They could have been the star. And it's weird that Jennifer Lawrence is popular and famous, but she's not.
Well, it's like Mike Wazowski.
I made it in the commercial.
During his 2022 congressional bid, Santos also claimed to some donors that he helped produce Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
What? Wait, what?
Rock musical revisiting the plot of the first 2 movies starring Tobey Maguire.
Oh, best
so he
Spider-Man.
claimed that he was a Broadway producer, and the timeline makes no fucking sense because it would have been at the same time that he was a volleyball star. Yeah.
If I were to find this fellow in the streets, I wouldn't ask him questions. I would just serve him a volleyball. I would just toss a ball at him and see what he does. Just see what he does to the ball.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're starting, I think, to really wrap up towards the end here. I think I thought today was going to be a quick one, but there's just so much.
No. You could throw in like 5 lies and no one would catch these lies.
So a former roommate said when he lived with George Santos back in 2013, Santos would, he would like sit at home all day on his computer. He'd just browse the web, chatting with people. And at the time, he said he was a reporter for the Brazilian media giant Globo. And another former roommate told another journalism, journalism review that Santos even claimed to be an executive there, which the director general of journalism there said no. Very no.
Surprise. Mild shock.
Yeah, I just, I don't even know. And so, he's like sworn in, right? And CNBC reports that a campaign staff member named Sam Meal impersonated the chief of staff of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy during the 2020 and 2022 cycles to raise money. There was more reporting that showed his campaign staffers charged a credit card on file for donors without their permission, racked up huge unexplained expenses and payments to Anonymous, as well as payments to themselves. And then a month after he was elected, he goes on this podcast and he's telling the hosts in Portuguese that, like, we've already suffered an attempt on my life, an assassination attempt.
Oh, yeah.
He also described a mugging that happened in the summer of 2021 when someone took his shoes and briefcase and watched him off on, watch off of him on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight. And, you know, they were like, okay, so what about the police records? And they did not have any. None. No police records.
He couldn't report it because his phone got took.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
because
he
ain't no snitch.
Yeah.
Because he ain't no snitch.
I just, like, the only thing that we do actually know about him is, like...
He's alive.
He's 34 years old. His name is George Santos. And he's currently serving as a representative in New York. And that's it.
All we know is that he has political power.
Oh, kind and, of. Like, what's crazy is he, like, did an interview with Piers Morgan. And he admitted that he didn't think he would get caught in, like, all these lies, right? So he said, I ran in 2020 for the same exact seat for Congress. I got away with it then. He added, doubling down on his false claim that his mother worked in the World Trade Center on 9/11. So
I've actually never heard this man speak. I think I want to find some interviews and just
just watch him.
Just watch.
Hate watch.
Yeah, it's kind of to that point.
Yeah. I'm going to just wrap it up here because this is already running long. The rest of the article talks about other investigations that he's facing, then goes on to talk about how Republicans don't want him around, like we've mentioned, and the only ones that want to keep his company are ones that are also batshit.
The Republicans don't want him around, and the only ones who want him around are the ones that other Republicans don't want around.
Yeah, the ones that
it's
are
like the unpopular table. It's like, hey, kid, you can sit with us.
Yeah, and like they think they're unpopular because they're, you know, just like
they're
outspoken.
just so.
But actually, they're just assholes.
They're just so woke, like Republican woke.
Yeah, sure, we'll call it that.
If if you want to move from a blue state to a red state like Georgia, you can. You can enjoy our rights. You just can't vote for 5 years.
Yeah, how fucking crazy is she? Absolutely insane.
A good red state like Georgia, yeah.
I don't think the last secession and civil war that we had worked out well, but times are different now.
I love it. Just get the popcorn out. Let's just watch it burn.
I'll just throw this in here if anyone's interested. There's a podcast called It Could Happen Here. It started out as a short, limited series. It talked about what would happen in the event that there were a civil war in the U.S. I think now they have pretty regular episodes that talks through all of the kind of like crazy shit that's happening. Yep. I think they realized they were just sitting on so much potential content. They brought it back.
Yep.
But yeah, It Could Happen Here. I will tell you, it's very anxiety inducing. So if you've already got anxiety, maybe your head is too much in the news cycle, don't watch it or don't listen to it.
Get it out of there.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's great.
Ask your smart speaker to play Affirmation Song by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's a favorite in our house.
Yeah. Hey Google.
Yeah.
Play Let It Burn by Usher.
Well, I think your phone
I've actually activated Google just now and here. That's in the bathroom. No, this is copyrighted. No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna have to go before it starts playing. So
no one listens.
No one listens. Stop. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Goodbye.